Hello, so I'm doing some vocal editing in Garageband. We're assembling a virtual choir, as you can see here, and these are all the altos that have taken part. I've got quite a few down here. And inevitably, with this kind of thing, you get certain syllables that don't happen completely together. And so what we do is we cheat a little bit, and there's a brilliant little bit of software in here called, an option in here called Flex. Here we go, we click on this little box here and it brings up these markers. This happens as a result of the waveform being analyzed by Garageband, and this is brilliant. So if I take this little syllable here, so we can just try and play this. Let's find out where we are. If we just play this, we can hear this syllable here. And so I can now move this forwards or backwards so as to synchronize it with what everybody else is doing. And as you can see, the waveform gets expanded either side. So if I just show you this to you, this waveform gets expanded either side and none of it gets broken anywhere. It's a very good little piece of software. Okay, the only trouble is sometimes it doesn't work, as happens with this project here. So what I'm doing is I'm importing audio from people's mobile phones. They've recorded a short video. I've stripped out the audio. I've saved it in AIFF format and imported it into this project. And sometimes, and there seems to be no logic to this at all, sometimes this happens. So here we've got somebody's recording. This needs to get analyzed first. I click here. This happens and we get the analysis. Now if I click on this, the waveform breaks. Look here, the waveform has just come apart. So if I undo that, and that seems to be, I cannot figure it out. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the format that the audio has been imported in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It might be to do with the sample rate of the original audio. I've looked up on the Garageband forums, can't find anything. Many people have asked the question and how to solve it, but nobody's come up with any solutions there as far as I could see. This is my workaround, and this might come in useful to you later on. All of these, if I click on them and try and edit them, will have the same issue, that the waveform detaches when I try and use Flex. So what I have to do here is as follows. I need to highlight this part only, so that this is the only part that's soloed. And I now need to export this voice as export it to disk. So we're going to bounce this down, and for this purposes we need to sort of set this volume slider down here to about -17.5, because we want the final sound file to be about the same vocal intensity as the original one, and this is where that setting needs to be. This vocal setting up, this volume setting up here is at 0. This is down here at about -17. That's, in my experience, about right. And this needs to be soloed so that no other vocal part is being extracted at this point. And we need to make sure that on this vocal line, if I go to the settings here, EQ is flat. I don't want to import any or fix any EQ settings at the moment. We just want to keep that flat. Okay, so I think we're ready to go, and I'm just going to double check and make sure that that cycle area, which I've got up here from previous work, that needs to be switched off. Okay, so make sure that that's switched off, otherwise you're only going to bounce down that little area, whereas we want the whole track. We're now going to share and export song to disk. There we go. And I want to click this box here, so I'm only going to export the cycle area or length of selected regions. And I've been using waveform. This seems to work. Okay, and I'm going to save that in. We need to just choose where we're going to save that. I'm going to save that in scores and into the submissions box here. That's wherever you want to save it, that's fine. Okay, and so now that's going, that's bouncing down that vocal part. You can make yourself a cup of tea while this happens. I'm using an old 2012 MacBook Pro, so it is not exactly the fastest machine on the planet. Okay, that's done. Now let's open up Finder, and if we go to, if I go to the file where I saved it, which is here. If I go into submissions now, there's this alto part. That's what I saved it as. 10:37. That was 2 minutes ago. So there it is, and I can now import that back into the original project. Of course, Garageband creates automatically creates a new audio track if I do this. So here we are. Grab that and stick it in here, and I'm going to place it so that it is completely level with the original track. Now if I just drag this back up to where it was next to the person whose vocal part I'm replacing, and we just make sure now, so if, as you can see, at -17 the WAV file is just a little bit louder than it was before. So you might want to do this. I'll probably redo this later. I'll reset that level to probably -20 just to make sure that the volume of the actual file is about the same. Okay, so this is just going to be brought in here so that it is completely in sync. Yeah, it is completely in sync. It's just slightly different shaped. Okay, so I should be able to now listen to this track here.
Angels sing their song.
And now, if I click on that track and we go into the editing tool here and I enable flex, it analyzes that entire waveform, and now I can edit using flex, and it has cured this problem. This is the only way that I can find of doing this. So I hope you find this useful. You can like and you can subscribe if you really want, or you can not. It's entirely up to you. Have a nice day.